Hi, welcome to my latest YouTube video. Today I'm doing a video in a place very different from where I usually will give them, which often is my office. Well, this time around I am in the Nashville International Airport and I just finished a phone session with one of my clients and we talked about a lesson that I want to teach you guys. It was a lesson that has to do with how and why codependency or self-love deficit disorder is an addiction. And I've talked about this in many other of my videos, especially when I talked about the pyramid, in which I lay out the fact that attachment trauma, core shame, addiction to the narcissist, and ultimately the codependency, which is at the top of the pyramid, defines the problem. And the only way that we can solve SLDD or codependency is to understand how hard, how seemingly impossible it will be to quit, and I quote this, quit the narcissist because it's an addiction. Anyone who has been addicted, whether it's to video games, cigarettes, alcohol, sex, gambling, know that addictions screw with your mind. They make you believe that something that is so bad, so harmful, and so destructive can actually be tolerated and accepted and will make you break not only your promises to yourself, to others, and end up with huge, sometimes catastrophic consequences. Well, SLDD, or the self-love deficient person, the SLD, when they are in early stages of recovery, they often make a decision to leave or set firm boundaries with the narcissist. And like any addict, they are so sure and convinced that they will never go back again. I think of me when I was a cigarette smoker, and it's been 12 years since I've had a cigarette. I can remember times where I threw away full cartons of cigarettes and said, I'm done forever. And then something would happen. I would then go and search through the garbage cans and do despicable things to get a cigarette, eventually to smoke it, and then buy a pack, and then buy a carton again. The problem with SLDD addiction is not as much the nature of the addiction. It's the nature of the drug, and the drug itself is a person. Cigarettes don't send you text messages and say, hey baby, how are you doing? Want to hang out tonight? Alcohol doesn't drive a car into your house and knock on your door. And the narcissist, the drug of choice for the SLD, will do whatever they can to break the will of the recovering SLD addict. Some of us call that hoovering, which is a topic of a whole different topic. And I'm going to pause just a little bit so we can wait for this announcement to be finished. So the hoovering is the diabolical and systematic manipulation of the SLD addict who has a no contact initiative or plans to stop their drug of choice. And the narcissist will do anything they can to figure out a way to trick up the narcissist to somehow break their focus, their concentration, and willpower to stop acting out, which would be in a relationship with them. And these pathological narcissists are often brilliant. And this is why I invented or created some of my techniques, mainly the observe, don't absorb technique. So in the case of an SLD addict who just decided to stop their drug of choice, who is going through withdrawals, and withdrawals, as I've mentioned before in previous videos or YouTube videos or training, the primary withdrawal symptom is pathological loneliness. Once the SLD gets through the severe pathological loneliness, just like any drug withdrawal syndrome, they get to a point of equilibrium where they feel stronger. And that is where they are most at risk for the Hoovering narcissist. But let's say they get through that. Then often they're at a point of their life where they get a chance to continue the recovery work, say with me, and to go deeper into the trauma and the shame and all the other reasons that are responsible for their self-love deficit disorder. So today in a session, I was talking with one of my clients who I've been working with for about a few years. And this client has done remarkably well and has made a lot of progress, but she still has not yet completely conquered her SLDD addiction. So without shaming her, she informed me, let me say this differently. She informed me that she recently relapsed with the narcissist ex-boyfriend. Without shaming her, I did what I normally do, is I say, well, relapse is difficult. Let's talk about it. Let's see how you're going to handle it, and let's see how it'll play out. So in the session, I asked her, and this is a common strategy, or some people might even call it technique, that is used in 12-step groups, namely Sex Addicts Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous. And it's called play the video forward. And I said to her, how does this video end? Because you have been with this person and other narcissists who you quit and had great sobriety from, and for one reason or another, whether they hoovered you or in a moment of weakness you fell prey to your own impulses, you went back. So you've been here before. It's not your first rodeo. So please tell me, how does this video end? And she thought about it, and she laughed, because she's also a recovering alcoholic, and she knows the term play the video forward or play the drink forward from her AA meeting. And she proceeded to tell me exactly how it would end. Something would happen. He would get annoying, threatening, overwhelming. She would get upset, and just like she always did, she would break up, and then she would go through sadness, loneliness, and ultimately a lot of shame. So we talked about this, and I asked her, I said, so if you're so clear with how this video is going to end, why are you going to do it? And she said, I just don't know. And in that moment I said to her, this is self-love deficit disorder addiction. It's the insanity of doing something over and over again and expecting different results. And despite the results that you hope that will come your way, you stay with it. But that didn't really help her. So I came up, and I love telling stories, and I love kind of making stuff up. And I remembered a story that I believe my brother told me. And I'm going to tell you the story. It's a story of a frog and a scorpion. Both the frog and the scorpion were at the side of a river. And we know frogs and scorpions are not best friends. Frogs stay away from scorpions because scorpions will kill them. And the scorpion comes up to the frog and says, please, can I ride on your back, and can you take me across the river, because my family is there and I promise I won't sting you. And the frog said, are you kidding me? What? You're a scorpion. Why would I do that? That's crazy. And the scorpion goes, yeah, I know how it sounds. But trust me, please. I really miss my family. My scorpion son, I haven't seen him in a couple days. I miss my wife. I won't kill you because that would kill me. And he says, come on, Mr. Frog, be logical. Why would I do that? And the frog, who is a SLDD frog who's not in good recovery, thought about it and said, I guess that makes sense, but you promise that once I let you off my back, you won't sting me. And the scorpion goes, on my honor, which is kind of weird for a scorpion, but this one actually had some honor and dignity. Imagine that. So the scorpion hopped on the frog's back, and the frog was kind of wading, swimming. You know how frogs swim on a river. Make it up if you don't, because I certainly don't. And all of a sudden, something startled the scorpion. I think it was a bird flying above him, and his stinger went boom, right on the frog's back of its neck. And the frog said, WTF, what did you just do? You just stung me. I'm going to die, and we're both going to drown. In complete despair. And it said, why would you kill us both? And the scorpion said in despair, I don't know. The frog said, you do know. The scorpion said, it's just my nature. And the frog died, and the scorpion drowned. So I told the story to my client, and I said, you played the story forward, and you know what's going to happen. It's always going to be the same thing. Your narcissist, the scorpion, is going to piss you off. He's going to abandon you. He's going to, in one way or another, hurt you in a predictable way, because we played the video forward. He's not going to change because it's in his nature. So, the choice is yours. Do you want that scorpion to ride on your back and believe he will be good and not hurt you? Or will you know despite his promises? Because narcissists don't know they're bad. They don't know they're going to hurt you. And they will promise you the world. People with narcissistic personality disorder are not sociopaths. They're not ASPDs. They will not knowingly harm you and will promise you the world. And when they turn on you, it's not part of their plan. So in closing, to all the SLDs, codependents, who understand the power of this addiction, understand the power of how it controls your thinking, who understands the power of the scorpion-like narcissist, who it's their nature to eventually do something that's going to hurt you. If you know all of this, then double down, and when you go into your abstinence period and you decide to quit this horrendous, horrible drug and to find sobriety or self-love abundance, understand the scorpion and understand yourself as a frog. It will happen. It will always happen, and you will always be disappointed. So make your choices based upon playing the video to the end and remembering the scorpion and the frog story. So with that, I say goodbye from Nashville Airport, and let me know if you're okay with this new venue and this kind of experimental mode of doing YouTube videos. Thanks, and take care.